The red fox. Currently, it's estimated that there are over 6 million red foxes in Australia, classified as one of our country's most destructive and invasive pest species. Watch on as I show you how to control foxes effectively in your own backyard. G'day viewers, and welcome back to Aussie Backyard Food. Today is all about protecting your chooks. I've recently had success with a fox trap. It's a foot trap. After trying many different alternatives to control our local fox problem. Originally, and you'll see if you've watched any of my other fox related episodes, we had 12 chickens killed over the space of a few weeks, and well, I don't even know if it was the one fox, and I suppose that's also what this video is about. I'm going to give you a step-by-step how-to guide on setting up my fox trap, just in case there's another fox out there. Who knows? Besides that, I can't get the new hens because I've been unable to find fox bait here, a new home, and after he's done such a good job as being a fox lure, I'm reluctant to just give him the chop. So two things have to fall into place before we get our hens. Looking forward to that. Can't wait for that taste of fresh homegrown eggs again. Alright, let's get into it. Okay, for today's job, we're going to need a hammer, our good old Jake foot trap with rubberised jaws, which is to comply with laws in New South Wales, some sort of a stake or peg. I've just simply used a piece of Rio, something to peg the trap down with. Some sort of a scent lure, which is not 100% necessary, particularly as you may have chooks in your backyard which provide the perfect lure. A rag to impregnate with our scent, and down on the ground there we have a gardening trowel to dig it in. Okay, I reckon it's a good idea to also use a pair of gloves just to keep any human scent off anything that we're using or touching. Alright, first thing we need to do is set our Jake trap. I bought this trap from Professional Trapping Solutions in Queensland. They were just getting their shit together. They're perhaps a new company or something. The trap came a little late, but it did come, so that's the main thing. First thing we've got to do is set the trap, which isn't as easy as you might think. And you got to be careful because there's enough force in this thing to break fingers. Alright, she's armed and dangerous. From now on, we never put our hands anywhere near the top part of this trap. Right, the next thing we want to do is pick our site. Trying to think about how a fox thinks and how a fox might approach this side of this enclosure and where he's going to place his feet, because that is ultimately what we're trying to trap, the fox's foot. So we're going to come about 200 millimeters off the side of the fence to place our trap. We also want to dig just the right size hole. So we're going to use the trap to mark it out. So we've dug our hole just so that the trap is level with or slightly below the surrounding surface. We also need to hide our chain so that that's not visible. So dig a bit of a channel off to the side. And we peg that in. So one thing I did leave off the materials list. You're going to need a nice big leaf from the garden, preferably a big floppy one like this Tamarillo leaf, and I'll show you just what we do with that in a second. Alright, fox bait. So because the last thing we need is any dirt or especially rocks falling in and fouling the mechanism, we need to cover that over. So we're going to use a leaf. For obvious reasons, it's a natural product, it's nice and floppy, it's going to get out of the way when the trap activates. But yeah, I guess if you didn't have a leaf like this in your garden or in your neighbour's garden, you could probably use something like fly mesh or fly screen. So the go is to just tear a couple of nice big bits. There we go. Then we sprinkle on some fine sand, no rocks. The next thing we want to do is add our scent lure to our rag. I reckon a fairly good substitute to this Baconator would be any old meat you got lying in the fridge, even some chicken necks or chicken wings rolled up in a rag. And the idea behind this is because whenever you keep chooks, you're bound to have vermin. And if you were to just simply put a bit of meat there, the vermin would be off with it before the fox got a chance to have a look. Okay, mate. So by wrapping it up in a rag, that ensures the smell lingers and the rats can't get at it. Because our aim is to get his foot where our foot trap is, we want to put our lure roughly about, I reckon about 400 millimeters away, directly above our trap onto the fence. stuff it in there so it can't easily be pulled out. And we are in fox catching business. And it's worked. How many foxes are we going to get? I don't know. I don't like having to kill any animal, but it's satisfying. It is really satisfying knowing that eventually I'll be able to keep chooks again, and also that we're doing good for the environment, that we're protecting all those little defenseless, fragile marsupials, birds and reptiles. And you know, the thing that drew my attention to this fox today as I was working in the garden was some magpies. Magpies are a great tool in your garden to let you know if something's amiss or if something's around threatening, particularly a predator. They've let me know in many occasions in past years when there's a snake around. You'll hear that distinctive magpie alarm call, and you'll often see them dive bombing, particularly I guess this time of year as well, being spring and them having some fragile chicks themselves to protect. But yes, so once again I'll turn the camera off now to do the deed, and rest assured it'll be a quick job. There's my magpie mate. Still a bit sus on the fox even though it's dead. So, 110 centimetres, bigger than the last one. So given its size and given the fact that the last one was female and this one is male, and the fact that foxes tend to be territorial, it looks like we've taken out a breeding pair, which is bloody awesome. Look, I understand that some people are going to find some of this content a little confronting, and even though I've complied with New South Wales DPI, Department of Primary Industries legislation in trapping and killing these foxes, yeah, you've got to ask yourself, are you happy with going down this route? I myself am 100% satisfied and happy with what I've done. I actually feel good about it. While I've had to push myself out of my own comfort zone in actually killing these foxes, I've found it a worthwhile exercise. I feel good in myself about it. When I consider the alternatives, I tried some of them. Some of them more, what I saw was ethical methods. Most foxes in Australia are killed via 1080 poison, which is banned in most developed countries around the world. It's a very nasty poison, and it's a poison that will take 24 hours to take full effect and kill the fox. And I've actually spoken to a farmer who has seen a pet dog who inadvertently ate some bait, and after witnessing that pet dog go through excruciating pain and eventually being put down, he vowed never to use 1080 again. So they're all things for all of us to struggle with and come to our own positions on. I think if you go down this route, you should make sure that no domestic dogs can come within range of your trap. If that's a risk, then perhaps it's an idea to put a sheet of ply over your trap during the day, because it's only likely that you're going to need your trap that your fox is going to come along at night time. One other thing to carefully consider is how you're going to dispatch your fox. I'd encourage you to come up with the most humane method that you have at your disposal. Nice and quick, preferably. So I would say to give it a go. Do it for yourself. Do it for your chooks. Hey, do it for your country. Catch ya. In the end, we were unable to find Foxbait a new home, but since he did such a good job for us in helping to lure those 2 foxes in, and since he's such a nice-natured rooster, we decided to hang on to him, which he seems quite happy about. He also seems quite happy about his new playmates, these Rhode Island Red Pullets. What do you reckon about that, Foxbait?